If you're flying long distance, your risk of blood clot could jump, but a few simple steps can protect you. Dr. Aman Sharma joins Louise to reveal what every traveller needs to know. Let's get into it.
Hi everyone. In today's podcast, we'll be talking about long flights and the blood clot related disorders or troubles you can have with them. I'm Dr. Aman Sharma, my friend Louise Thompson, and we'll talk about long flights. So, what do you say? You love long flights, don't you?
Not really. I don't know if anybody really loves long flights and also holidays. So maybe when you get to your destination, that's when people are discovered to have clots. So maybe it's a long awaited holiday. They finally get there and the holiday's ruined by blood clot. We've heard of people like Hillary Clinton, whose clots were ascribed to her long haul flights that she was doing a lot at the time. I don't really understand why altitude might be having an impact on this, but I do understand that hydration is an issue. So why is it that going on a long-awaited, long-haul flight is going to make your risk of having a blood clot increase?
Great question. So, when we travel, firstly, traveling itself is such a chaotic and stressful process. Bags, this, visas, money, whatnot. What happens is most of us, including me, I've never traveled on the business class. I've always traveled on the economy class. Can't afford it, guys. Come on. So what happens is when you're going on a seat and you're doing an 8 to 9 hour long haul flight, which I usually do when I go to India. Trouble is, if you're seated at one single place, not moving your legs enough, you're basically not causing a good circulation of the blood supply. Okay, of course when you're in the flight you're not drinking enough that you would have usually done, because again, if you drink too much water you have to go to the loo and such complexities. If you've got kids along with you, it's another different sort of ball game, isn't it? Traveling on a long haul flight, number one killer here is immobilization. So you're stuck on your seat for a very long time, you don't move around because there's not enough space, right? This is a potential risk factor. The way you can simply avoid is moving your legs in your seat, just tip and toes. That should at least provide some further circulation of the blood. Second thing, dehydration. So this is all happening at the same time, because yes, when you go on a flight, they might give you a bottle, they might pour some water to you, and that's it. You don't drink much because there is not enough availability, or it might be expensive. You've got, everyone's got their own reasons, right? And once you've gone through this big disastrous, what to say, flight, then you go and you end up into unknown territory where your vacation is. Again, you're a bit cautious. Should I drink this? Should I not drink this? Because yes, you can get waterborne infections. Again, money comes into play. People would say, oh, let me just skip some water, or I'll pay this into some drinks. So you've gone into an unknown, uncharted territory. You are not very sure if the water is safe. You don't want to pay for the water. And then you go to the pubs or to the parties and then you drink alcohol. So it's a sum of all fears. You've got dehydration because of the alcohol, dehydration because you didn't have enough water, and you got a very potential immobilizing threat of your limbs because of the long haul flight. To put cherry on the top, if you've got any genetic predisposition, there you are. That's a recipe for complete disaster. That's why we see many of the people who've gone into long haul flights to a good destination end up getting clots in their legs, which is very common.
So I always thought it was something to do with actually the altitude. It's just the same things as you have on the ground, but for a longer duration, more intensity. That's really good to know. So it really is stuff that you can do, that you can manage. I've said before,
when we were talking about the previous US Senate state head, isn't it, Miss Hillary Clinton? So she would have not traveled in economy class. Come on, guys. It would have been a
That's
chartered
true.
plane, maybe Air Force One. Who knows? The best, right? So she's lying flat. She's not sitting like us, not crumbed up in a,
Somebody bringing her a drink.
someone bring, but yet they had it. It's really difficult to say that yes, altitude and the flight does not have any significance. It might have. There's not much studies done on it because most of the emphasis has been given to people not mobilizing enough and being dehydrated.
Okay, thank you. So some of the things that I've learnt to do is that I will always wear flight socks.
Yeah.
And you can always see me sitting in the departure lounge putting my ugly, tight, uncomfortable flight socks on, and you keep me right here, the compression of the tightness of those socks increases the circulation, increases the blood flow. So I always wear them, and you can just buy them in WH Smith's or wherever in the airport. Not expensive. You can keep them for the next flight. Horrible to wear, but important. So I always wear them. I always take extra blood thinner. So I guess everybody's different here and they need to take their own advice for their medication. But I always take extra aspirin when I'm about to go on a flight. I'm really conscious of the water that I'm drinking for entirely other reasons. I'm then going to be going to the loo a lot. So make sure you get something comfortable for your feet because you don't want to go bare feet. And the lessons I've learned from drinking a lot of water on the plane, I definitely won't touch the alcohol. Just isn't worth it for me. And then when I get into the sunshine again, and I thought it was the blazing sun, but you've educated me. It's not the blazing sun. It's the fact that I am not hydrated enough when I'm sitting in the blazing sun.
I mean, that is a factor.
Headache.
The sun is a factor because you've lived in a country like in UK. Getting sunshine is a blessing. You get it very rarely. So if you go to a place which has a temperature of 30-35 degrees, you've not been subjected to that temperature here for a long time. The sun, of course, it's quite heaty sun. It's just not a lighty sun, basically. So yes, the dehydration, the traveling, everything does cause it, but it's the bright light which also causes the headache. It's a temperature change because your body's thermoregulation is not that strong now because you've lived in a colder place. So when you suddenly swipe temperatures going from 10-12 degrees to suddenly 30-35 degrees, your body has to adapt a lot. And that also precipitates your headache.
Okay, thank you. So if people are going on a flight, whether they have a known condition that could lead to a blood clot or not, please take those very simple precautions.
Absolutely.
To try and avoid getting a clot. And if you start to get any of those symptoms that we've talked about,
shortness of breath, chest pains, dizziness, palpitations, you just not feeling right,
or the cough,
or your calf feeling a bit tender, those are the symptoms. What I would also like to add here, people in their specific conditions like pregnant women are also at risk of developing clots because your body's viscosity, the blood's viscosity changes. People who've got cancer, they've got hypercoagulable state, as in the body has a tendency to form more clots. People who've just had major surgeries, who've just stepped down from critical care units, who had burns in the recent time, these all people have the highest risk. Of course, people who have genetic predisposition like the Factor V, who've got antiphospholipid syndromes, protein C, protein S deficiencies, all of these people who have additional risk factor, you should be a little more cautious. Of course, do what Louise does. If getting the stockings helps, please have it. Hydrate yourselves, avoid the alcohol, and have a great flight. Why not?
Thank you.
This podcast is for informational purposes only and does not constitute medical, legal, or financial advice. Opinions expressed are the personal views of the Thrombowatch team. If you think you may have developed a new blood clot, please speak to your healthcare provider urgently. Health-related information on this podcast, including text, graphics, images, and other material, is for educational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or any other qualified healthcare provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition. If you believe you're experiencing a medical emergency, call 999 in the UK for less urgent assistance.